I felt pretty good tonight. I was doing some things I did as a younger man. So I've said that, as the games go on, I'm going to feel more comfortable moving around a little bit. And there were a couple times where I need to extend plays. We're trying to change this whole attitude around here. We're trying to build something special here, get these fans to believe in us. They've been tortured for a long time. So last year was obviously a tough year. But it's good to be back. But it's great to be a Jet. Great to have nights like this. And even better to have a weekend off.
Mini bye before they get Denver a week from Sunday. The Jets sit at 2-1 after a very difficult schedule to start their season. And Rodgers last night, Ryan Clark, gave the kind of performance. He's talking about the tortured Jet fans, and it's no secret that I'm one of them. He gave the kind of performance that gives people hope. What did you see from Aaron Rodgers last night?
That this is the vibe, Greeny. This is what you expect from Aaron Rodgers. And we thought that this would come earlier because we've seen him play so many times. We've seen him do dynamic things. But look at the first pass of the second quarter. He rolls to his left. He throws the football to his buddy Allen Lazard, and then he chases him down the field. There were so many plays last night where you saw Aaron Rodgers go above and beyond the X's and O's. We hadn't seen that in the first 2 weeks. And to get outside the pocket, to get the football to Allen Lazard, to chase him down the field, you're looking at the little things. How many things can we see that remind us of old Aaron Rodgers? And then you got the attitude, we're going to push our coach off because it ain't enough. We ain't happy about having a 2-score lead. At the end of the game, we're going to talk about all the fun that football is, but how it's much better to have a weekend off. That's Aaron Rodgers. That's Aaron Rodgers enjoying being himself. He felt more like the guy that's won 4 MVPs. And I love what Bart said about Garrett and him not necessarily being on the first page. Those two players, who are the two best players on the offense, are still missing a little bit. So the fact that he was able to dictate who gets the football, where they get the football, and win the game without being perfect, and the Jets look like that, is a huge step forward for all the greenies in the world.
That's exactly right. The gang greenies are feeling pretty good today. There's the touchdown conversion to Garrett Wilson. Can I just confirm with you that as he's running happily behind Lazard, he's not looking to throw a block on that play?
He thought about it. He was feeling himself last night.
Aaron, don't throw a block. Whatever you do, do not throw a block. But Bart, again, for those who don't know, not only did you play for the Jets, you do the pre and post game on their local. Here it is as he's running behind him. Once again, he can run all he wants. If he throws a block, I'm telling you right now,
he was ready.
I'm not ready for it emotionally. Bart, let's talk. Listen, Aaron Rodgers hasn't had a day that looked like that in well over 600 days. In fact, he hadn't finished a game. Well, I guess he had. He played the first 2 of this season. So he hadn't had a day that looked like that in at least 600 days. What did it look like?
I mean, it looked like a guy that was feeling confident in his surgery and saying, hey, I can go out and let it loose. I don't have to hold back. You saw that with Kirk Cousins as well. It's starting to have confidence in surgery. But you talk about, his connection with Lazard. That he really got it started because the Patriots game plan for an immobile quarterback. That's why they had all those blitzes looping into the A-gaps, trying to put pressure in his face. But Allen Lazard got the team going. You talk about coming out and throwing the ball, the connection, he completed passes to 8 different receivers. And Conklin had a day, and it was because of those off-platform throws that we've become accustomed to Aaron Rodgers doing. I think he had a great day yesterday, and they're just getting started as they're starting to believe as well.
Yeah, the Seeing Green parlay hit on ESPN Bet, by the way, yesterday. So the good news is all over the place for us. Dan, there have been a lot of questions, obviously, and the way last season went is
it's what it is.
It was what it was. How many of them for you did he answer last night?
Look, I think this is what it's supposed to look like, right? When the Jets bring in Aaron Rodgers, this is what they imagine. They have a good roster around him, and they feel like if he can play, Aaron Rodgers level quarterback, then they might have a great team. And I think what we saw last night, the mobility is nice to see because of the injury he's coming off of. That's very, very encouraging. The touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson is a reminder of who he is and what he can do with the ball. It goes exactly to the exact square inch it needs to go every single time. But the group around him, like you talk about Braylon Allen, the rookie running back, who's younger than one of my kids. He literally,
he's younger than both of my kids.
Yeah, exactly. He has he has a real role in the offense. He's not just Breece Hall's backup. I think he had more yards than Breece Hall.
He's also bigger than both of my kids.
Well, obviously, yeah, I would think. But look,
I mean, combined,
they're getting Lazard and Conklin, right? Like you're seeing contributions from all over the place in an offense that we might have thought would be the Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson show. There's more places for him to go with the ball.
What phrase did you use to describe that performance last night?
Last night was a general manager's dream. Credit Joe Douglas. He hit a grand slam. Started with Aaron Rodgers. If he can move like that, this is a Super Bowl contender. We know he can always throw it. The way he moved was unbelievable. And let's go right down the list. Mike Williams, 3 catches, did a tremendous job. And first of all, look at this movement. That doesn't look like a 40-yard guy right there. As Graz said, that's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, man.
Mike Williams, 3 catches. His physicality, they're going to need in the red zone. If you keep going, Hassan Reddick, Bryce Huff, John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson, all gone. Will McDonald, 5 sacks in the last 2 games. And then a lot of pressure on, hey, let's go draft Brock Bowers. We need another weapon. Morgan Moses gets hurt. Olu Fashanu goes in and plays well. Joe Douglas did a heck of a job. The depth was tested, and he went 5 for 5.
Joe had a Shohei Ohtani night last night.
Or Shohei Ohtani had a Joe Douglas night.
And also, let's give credit to Albrecht, right? He knew that he didn't have the natural pass rushers that he had.
As the defensive coordinator of the Jets.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, he blitzed on 40%. That's the highest blitz total he's had since he's been there, and that's how they generated those sacks. Figuring out ways. I don't have my guys right now. Let's put it on the corners on the outside, and let's light them up.
When he wins, he's genuinely funny. So we were talking about the connection with Garrett Wilson. Listen to Rodgers explaining how they're D'ing him up and why it was significant last night.
The entire focus of all 3 defenses we played have been taking Garrett away. It's been Mel Kiper's worst nightmare. Been a lot of cover 2, you know. And when there's times we get 1 high, we've tried to go to him, but a lot of 2 high in all 3 games.
I knew it. I know he's watching that up every morning in that Matrix suit. He's got the black Matrix, the Keanu Reeves suit back on, and he's being funny. Come on, RC. Give me a final word for that. We'll have much more on this as we go. Put a button on it for now.
Hey, the first thing, Greeny, is your friendship is not just in your mind. Aaron Rodgers actually likes you too. And I think that's the biggest piece of this all. But let's be truthful, though, about what he's saying. He's saying that he needs to get the ball to Garrett Wilson. But what we saw last night is that he doesn't have to get it to Garrett Wilson every single play. Mike T is right. It was a GM's dream to see Allen Lazard step up, Mike Williams make big plays with 50-50 catches, and you find success with your tight ends in a 2-headed running attack. John Wick, he's dressed like, but he's definitely doing some Neo with the Matrix type stuff because he's starting to believe.
That was the one I was going for. Thank you for correcting my movies. It's John Wick that he's dressed like, and I'm good with it either way. Okay. Bottom of the hour on Get Up. So this viral moment during the game last night between the Jets and the Patriots sort of took over some of the conversation. The Jets had taken the 14-0 lead. Rodgers to the sideline. He's sort of shoving away his coach, Robert Salah. A lot of people on social media wanted to know what it was. Here was Aaron's explanation.
What was that awkward exchange with you and Robert? You appeared to push him away.
No, it was not really awkward at all.
When he went to hug you, what happened?
I didn't know. He's not a big hugger, usually, so I didn't know he was going for the hug. He likes to do the 2-hand chest push as well. So, but he talks a lot about 2-score leads. So I just kind of gave him a push and said 2-score lead. That's what happened.
And as always, we will follow our leader. Pineapple Jack, come on over here. Come on in, bring it in. No, there will be no hug. There will just be the 2-hand chest shove, and that's it. From now on, the 2-hand chest shove is the official greeting of Get Up here on The Morning on ESPN. Meanwhile, Ryan Clark, I will send it back to you. Are we buying that explanation? Do we think that's what really happened, or do we think there was some cause, as some people are suggesting, for concern coming off of that interaction?
No. First off, why would Aaron Rodgers ever be mad at a head coach that never tells him he's doing anything wrong? I don't know about you, but if I had a boss that was like, yeah, Ryan, just do what the hell you want. You don't want to come to work? Don't come to work. You don't want to do what I ask you to do? Don't do it. You want to change the plays at the line of scrimmage because you don't like what Nathaniel Hackett called? Call it. Actually, if you want to run my meeting, run my meeting. Why would he ever be mad at Robert Salah? The other piece is this. You've watched athletes forever. We don't smile. Smiling and having fun and showing joy after you make great plays, that ain't what you do. Every time Chris Webber dunked, he looked like somebody had stolen his dog because he was fired up. Kobe Bryant had a freaking underbite, and he didn't even have an underbite when he made big plays. This is what you do. You push each other, you chest bump, you slap each other in the head. We're always talking about concussions. I'm pretty sure I've gotten 3 to 4 of them after big hits because people have slapped me harder than the hits were. Let's stop making a little bitty thing a big thing. It was a miscommunication in a public display of affection. I don't want to hug tall, bald-headed dudes that look like Xerxes on national TV either. So for me, Aaron Rodgers was just making the play. He pushed his coach. He told him 2-score lead. He was fired up because now he can run. And I'm buying what Aaron Rodgers is saying. I don't care what anybody else says.
Me too. Oh, no, I'm buying it. It doesn't matter what it costs. I'm buying it. In fact, I'm buying some for everybody here today if you want. Well, you're there. You see it.
And so is Robert Salah. Why would he be mad?
That's exactly right.
If anything, like, you should say Aaron Rodgers is a superhero. He made a guy who had an icebox where his heart used to be open up and find love. Like every Jet defender that's ever watched football, we all had a collective tear in our eye because we saw a professional quarterback in a Jets uniform for the first time in his history. No shade to Sanchez. I'm sorry to throw a stray, but Aaron Rodgers did something we've never seen before.
No.
Yeah. Full control.
Well, look, that was a performance. For those who don't follow the Jets, and if you don't, God bless you, that was a performance that only those old enough to have seen Joe Namath play ever saw. Like, that's how good he was last night, on that individual night. That's not to suggest Vinny Testaverde didn't have some great nights and Chad Pennington and all of that, but it never looked like that, because very few players have ever looked like that. So, Dan Graziano, you have been, I think, at times appropriately skeptical of how all this was going to go.
Sure.
If it looks like that, if he looks like that, you know, and forgetting, look, a long season ahead.
Yeah.
But if he looks like that, what is this team capable of?
Yeah, they beat anybody. Look, if it still looks like this at the end of December, beginning of January, they're going to be one of the scariest teams in the entire league heading into the postseason. You'd say, I mean, that has to hold up over the course of a long season. They look great right now. It has started wonderfully. They have navigated a difficult portion of their schedule and come out of it 2-1, and things appear to soften up here in the near future. So all positive. The only question is about, I mean, the quarterback is 40, right? Like, does he get through a full season? He looks like a guy that can, but obviously we won't know that for several more months. Otherwise, there's nothing to nitpick.
You know, Greeny, when you watch this team, it was a team that played last night that they know they have a real chance to get to where they want to go. It's human nature in the NFL. Look, Tua's dealing with a real injury. They know that's one less competitor, likely not in the mix. You look at Baltimore, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, the starts they've gotten off to. That was a team playing last night. Like, we have a quarterback, we have the pieces, we could get to where we want to go. It's all going to be about, can Aaron Rodgers' legs stay at that same level throughout the season?
I mean, I tell you what, but I have belief in Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor came in the Tennessee Titans. Last year, it was all about the backup quarterbacks, and the Jets have a high-quality backup quarterback. I mean, you look at Fashion, who comes in, he balls out, goes to right tackle. We never saw that. I mean, I think the most impressive thing is Aaron Rodgers is protected, and his run game's only going to get better. But the fact that he's able to burp the baby inside the pocket, able to do those extended plays, and now his guys are doing the scramble drill, I mean, that's hard. You know, Ryan Clark played with Ben Roethlisberger. It is death on a defense when a quarterback can buy time in the pocket and guys can scramble and do the scrambling drills.
Rashid, final word on this here. As far as
excuse me.
That,
Bart, do you think anybody in New York cares if Tyrod Taylor is a good backup?
Yeah.
Do you think Mike Greenberg wants to see Tyrod Taylor at quarterback? The only time they want to see Tyrod Taylor at quarterback is if the Jets are blowing somebody out. Other than that, that's not what they want. Do you know what they want? They want to see Aaron Rodgers play the way he did last night. They want to see the confidence that Aaron Rodgers had, not only throwing to Garrett Wilson, who he did miss a couple of times, even though they had that amazing play on the goal line, to Allen Lazard, to Conklin, using Breece Hall in the pass game. Braylon Allen now becoming a huge part of this offense, not just a spell for Breece Hall. He has a legitimate role where he's a game changer. Everything that we saw last night was more than what you could ever have expected from the Jets. Yes, we want to see Aaron Rodgers play well, but we want to see the Jets take a step as a team. And that's what we saw last night. And if you haven't seen New England play, whether it was against Cincinnati or Seattle, it's not a team that's struggling without Bill Belichick to be coached well and execute. That was a great performance by New York last night.